guys, welcome to my YouTube channel.
Hey guys.
So depending on whether we posted it or not, you'll see that the previous video was a disaster.
Complete disaster. We tried to get Nuri involved in our videos and yeah, she showed us flames.
Yeah, so now we've got her out.
Now we're back to the usual setup.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just me and my husband. And we are, I don't know by the time this video goes up, but we are 95,000 subscribers, which means 100K is literally like go, like literally right here. And so we just want to thank you guys, the notification gang, the subscribers, the everyone who comments, the stalkers, everyone. Yeah, we appreciate you guys so much.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a new week, and for the past 3 or 4 weeks.
3 weeks, yeah.
3 weeks we've been doing videos where we focus on relationships, single people, just basically this whole married people, this whole love thing that we also fascinated about.
Yes.
Cool.
Today's topic, guys, for once I know what the topic is.
Okay.
Today's topic is communication.
Yes.
Yeah, this is a big one. It's a very big one because I think a lot of people don't actually know how to talk to each other, including us.
We're
still doing this work. So literally we're gonna try and practice what we're gonna preach today.
Yeah,
because these are the things that we think we need to work on.
Yeah.
So this video is really about what we're trying to implement into our communication to make us better and understand each other, because the male brain and the female brain are two different things.
Yep. I think communication is a problem for a lot of couples, but it's not doom. Doesn't mean doom. I think you can always work on it, and I don't think you ever arrive at a place where you're like, we excellent communicators. I think it's just a constant work.
I think what we're learning with all the videos that we're making is that everything is really continuous work.
Yeah,
you never actually reach a point where like no, you don't show you play. Yeah. So it's kind of like waking up every day and asking yourself, okay, what do I need to work on today? So today's topic is communication.
Cool. Brendan's got 4 points that he wrote down for us.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's get right into the 4 points.
Find them.
The 4 points of communication. So we're gonna mention each one, and then we're gonna try kind of give background story, always make it relatable, and we'll make it easygoing.
So the first point, guys, I'm bad at leading these things, so this is my first one. Pella, I'm on probation. The first point is listen to understand. This is a very important one. This is why it's number one, because most times when you're having a discussion with your spouse, not an argument, because we don't believe in arguments, we're supposed to be discussing things, but most times it's like you say something and before the other person responds, or you listening to someone while they're speaking, you already know what you're going to come at them with.
Thinking of an answer.
You already know what's going to lead.
Yeah.
So this is just to say, actually, when you're having a discussion with your spouse, you need to be listening to what they're saying. You need to be really taking in every single word. Yeah. And so the Bible says, be quick to listen and slow to speak.
I don't know.
The Bible says something about listening and speaking, but it's anyway. The point is, I feel like a lot of times in relationships, we really want to voice ourselves out, but we don't take the time to listen to what the other party is saying. Yeah,
I think we always say there's a reason why we have one mouth and 2 ears.
Really?
Yeah.
You gotta go there.
I want to go there so we can listen more. But I think you're actually really good at this.
I'm extremely good at this.
Okay.
I listen.
You're actually, Brendan's a really good listener. Like, he will listen, take in what you're saying, and really like apologize.
Yeah.
Me, on the other hand, not so good. When I'm listening, my mind is typing away. I'm typing away my response. I'm gonna
She's
come
setting
at
up
you.
a whole,
like a whole argument, and my arguments are good.
It's like proper stuff. Like she's gonna get you in jail.
like I'm gonna get you there. But it's actually really, it's a terrible trait to have, because eventually I think maybe it's common in relationships. The woman normally has a good response. Common. I'm not saying every relationship, and that's why many men tend to shut down and they don't
Mrs. Mom,
Men tend to shut down and stop talking because as women we don't listen. We just really want to blab away.
Sure.
But I think
you know what? Okay, sorry to cut you, but I think it's not really. I don't think it's just a man or a woman thing. I think it's whoever is more articulate. Is gonna be the person who's gonna dominate the argument. Whoever is able to express themselves better. So I'm not really that great at expressing myself. I make a lot of mistakes. So even if I'm in like you see, even now, if I'm in an argument, I'm not gonna win. It's gonna be useless for me. So Mpoomy, on the other hand, speaks really quickly. So she's firing away. Like I'm gonna point up Puma like one by one. So it's always that person who's super articulate. Who could be the one who dominates.
Who's better with words and speaking. So, but I think we've been putting these things into practice. And for me, I realized that listening instead of trying to come up with answers is a pride thing. So while you're busy, while we're having, because we've stopped arguing, we're trying to discuss. We're trying to discuss things. We try to have disagreements instead of arguments, simply because, well, firstly, it's just not right, and secondly, Nuri's watching us and she does everything that we do. So since we've been practicing the whole discussion thing, like inside me, I think the pride in me, I can literally feel it boil up, saying, come up with an answer. And then there's the Holy Spirit, you know, those two, like the good and the bad. And then there's the Holy Spirit that says, no, you have to listen. And it's really hard for me to come and say, okay, let me listen, because I feel like you're winning, you know. But the real winning is being soft-spoken, listening, and understanding what the other person is trying to say. Because at the end of the day, we're together for a reason. We're not together to hurt each other.
Again, like when we're having a discussion, it's not about who's gonna win. We're both supposed to win. So if it's everyone should leave happy. So that's why this first point is important.
Cool.
Can we move on to point number 2?
Guys,
point number 2. This one I think is also like super important. So this one is mind your tone. Now, if you've ever spoken to anyone or had an altercation with anyone, you know how important tone is.
Extremely.
Tone is the difference between someone understanding you or someone feeling offended or someone. It's how you say something. It's not what you say. A lot of the times they always say, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. So you want to make sure that when you're talking to your spouse, you're not attacking them and you're not attacking their character. I think a lot of times when we argue with people, we end up we want to pull out their laundry. And when you're married to someone or you've been with someone for a long time, you know a lot about that person. So if you ever want to pull out something that's going to hurt them deeply, it's very easy. So your tone is super important, making sure that your partner is hearing you. So you want to come with love. Tony Gaskins always says you need to lead with love. So when you're speaking to someone, you need to lead with love. You need to show Wuti, I'm not mad at you, or I don't think you meant to hurt me. So if she did something, for instance, if she said something that I don't like, I need to come to her and say, I understand that you might not have recognized that, but this is how I feel. And I need to make it about me. Always make it about how I'm feeling, instead of saying, no, you this kind of person, you know, like don't come with the vele. Just be talking about your perspective and how you are feeling.
So I think I'm going to take a different angle towards the tone thing. In terms of asking for things, because I get a lot of DMs and I try base all our conversations and videos on the questions people have. And people would ask me like, how do I get my partner to do this? How do I get my boyfriend? How do I get my husband? Some will say like, my boyfriend doesn't want to take me on a date. What should I do? And I say, well, sometimes maybe you haven't communicated that, you know? And even when you're communicating, it just came off as complaining. Like instead of saying, babe, I think it would be really nice if we go to the movies sometime, or let's try read a book together. You come and say, you know, the thing is, boyfriend always takes her out to the movies, but we never do that. See, already that is so offensive, and a person shuts down immediately when you do that.
Yeah.
Or when you come to your spouse comparing them
to another man.
Good example, when I started following Heather Lindsay, I think we were dating. Soon after that, we were dating, and then I discovered her husband, and he has this whole accountability page, and he's like, I thought he was a really great example, and I would tell Brendan to follow him. But the way in which I approached it, I'd say like, yeah, I think Cornelius is a really great man, like he does all this one, and I would go on and on about how amazing it is. And I think that
So
to
in
you
my
would,
mind, I'm just like, why
don't you just be with him, you
I'm
know?
no shot to Cornelius.
Yeah, and that's just a put off, because instead of praising my partner now, I'm busy praising another partner, and it feels like comparison. Instead of saying, wow, you're really great, and I found somebody who I think you would enjoy following, you know. I think you could get a lot from that person. You guys have a lot of things in common, you know. There's just a way of communicating and suggesting something and communicating your needs to your partner without making them feel less than. I think that's the tone part of it. Don't make a person feel less than, even when you communicate your needs and the person has been struggling to meet them.
And I think a main part of that is kind of like you said, always making it about what it is that you would like the outcome to be, instead of what it is the other person does wrong. Don't make it seem like they're already crucified for what they're doing. So this is number 3. All right, so this might be the hardest one to do, maybe this one and the next one.
Okay.
But number 3 is learn to forgive quickly. We learn to forgive quickly. So obviously, learn to forgive, that's a whole other thing. But when you're in a relationship with someone for a long time and you live together and you're married, it's very important to not go to bed. The Bible said, do not go to bed angry. So a lot of that has to do with how quickly you forgive, you know. Some people can forgive and just get over it. Because I'm like that. For me, if I forgive you, I can laugh with you literally 2 seconds later. It's out of my system. Mpoomy,
Mr. President must validate.
Mpoomy, there's a long process. It's like you're doing your tax returns. It's tough, but but I think we're working on it, and we're getting better, and we're doing the don't go to bed rule. I think that's the easiest one.
That one's easy
because you have the whole day.
When you first start out in your relationship, like, we don't go to bed angry, we don't, and then you stay with a person for a while,
the same thing over
and then it's just like, you know what, I'm just gonna sleep, because if I talk now, I might just say things I will regret. It's really wrong. And I've noticed that on days where I do go to bed and having not released, I wake up really unhappy in the morning. You wake up with all that tension. Now we have to sort it out. So I think what has helped me with forgiving quickly is, instead of you just saying sorry and I say it's okay, I forgive you, you say sorry, and then I really fully express how that made me feel. And having you understand how that made me feel makes my weight lighter, and then I can forgive. So I think that's why it's so important that every evening there's a set time for us too, and not every night now we discussing issues. Some nights we put our phones away and we just talk about our dreams, or or make jokes, or laugh, or just cuddle. And then some nights, maybe it was a really bad day, we sit down and we talk about why this made me feel the way it did, and then you go to bed free.
That's the biggest thing, guys, because if you go to bed with anger in your heart, or some sort of uncertainty that you're bottling up inside, you're gonna wake up with that stuff, and you're taking it into the next day, you're carrying it into the next day. So that's why it's super important, even if it's hard, even if it doesn't feel like you've loosened that weight, trust me, you have. Just by speaking about it, just by saying, you know what, I forgive you, it's fine, and going to bed knowing that you put out how you feel, you put out exactly what it made you feel, and whatever you're going through, it's just going to make it a world of difference in terms of your guys' relationship, and you'll be able to start the next day on a clean slate.
Sure.
So the last one, so this is the final one, and this is kind of like a continuation from the third one, but this is, don't bring up transgressions from the past. So once you've forgiven and you've let it go, don't ever bring it up ever again. There's never ever a reason to ever bring up something that someone did in the past, ever. If you've forgiven them, there's never ever a reason. It doesn't matter how much that person hurts you. There's just no reason, because if you say you forgave, then you need to get it out of your system.
Yeah.
The fact that you're bringing it up means that you've been hanging onto it, saving it for another fight.
Okay, so what happens if you forgive that thing, you let it go, and then the person does it again? You can't say...
You treat this new one. You treat this new as a new issue. It's a new document.
Okay.
Yeah, but I know it's tough.
It's very
But
tough.
it's good, because what it does is that it makes us not linger on each other's weaknesses. It allows us to kind of, oh baby, today you're a leader, man. I feel like I'm talking too much.
But because you're the master of really good communication.
Yeah. So, but it makes you feel like you don't linger on your spouse's weaknesses. You focus on their positives.
Yeah.
And so so that's really all there is to it. I don't think there's much to say. Maybe you want to say something, but it's just about focusing on your spouse's positives. And if they make a mistake, if you choose to forgive them, then you move on and you forget about it.
Yeah.
You never ever bring it up. You never ever think about it. And that's very hard, but you don't. You remove it from your mind, and you, like I said, you focus on what they're doing right, and you focus on the positive.
I think lingering on what the past has done is really a form of unforgiveness.
Yeah.
Because it's just kind of saying, you know what, I'll let it go for now, but I'll keep it just right there, just in case you do something else, and then my case is stronger.
So a person's not fully forgiven.
A person has not. I believe so. I believe in arguments where I've brought up things, it's things that I haven't fully forgiven. But the things that I have really forgiven, you really don't bring them up. You let them slide. So I think it's very important. I think forgiveness is a video on its own. It's a whole other thing. And somebody, I don't know who I was listening to, and they said if you want to be in a happy marriage, you have to be really good at forgiving.
That's all that marriage
honestly
is.
You have to be really good at forgiving, and we don't like to talk about this.
Any relationship.
Even
siblings.
Everything.
Think about your relationship with your siblings.
Yeah.
Is how many times you guys annoy each other, or you overstep boundaries, but
you forgive.
It's forgiving.
Yeah.
And the reason you can forgive is because there's love.
There's love.
And if you're leading with love, it becomes easier to forgive.
Yeah.
So
I mean, love covers a multitude of sin.
Come on.
So so I think forgiveness is really the key, even with communication. At all times we need to learn to put the past behind us and look forward. So these are the communication things. I'm working really hard on this communication thing, to not always try to get my way, to be gracious about things. And I think it's really, really helped us. We hear each other better, and we do so much better. Like when it's clear, when the pathways are clear, when I know that you have good intentions for me and I have good intentions for you, then it's just so much easier to make this relationship thing work.
It is. And at the end of the day, we are a team.
Yeah.
So we need to both win. If every time there's an argument, you feel like you're the one who's winning, then you are the problem in the relationship. Like, it needs to be a 50-50 thing. Yeah. There needs to be compromise. You can't always be getting your way. Like I said, you can't always be picking the movies. There needs to be some sort of compromise. Let's try and communicate better, not just in marriage, but also in our families,
in our friendships, business partnerships.
And one last thing, there's never ever a reason for you to raise your voice. This is with your spouse or with your kids or with family member, with petrol attendants, with people at the till. There's never ever a reason to raise your voice.
The salespeople on the phone
that annoy you, that just call you to offer you insurance even though you've got insurance.
There's never
ever a reason to raise your voice and to get angry. I think that's also part of communicating well, because when you calm, you are able to express yourself so much better. You're able to understand things a lot better. This was not on this is a bonus, because I take this work seriously.
Yeah, we've actually made a decision. We sat down and we spoke that we will no longer be shouting at Nuri.
Yeah.
It's very hard because we grew up being yelled at, and it was normal. It's a normal way of disciplining a child. But we've decided we are going to go a different route, because even as an adult, I don't like being yelled at. So yelling at my child, and in fact, when we do yell at her, she retaliates.
Yeah.
But when we speak nicely to her, give her the consequences, she listens. So we're taking this communication thing seriously everywhere, from how we interact with our parents, our siblings, the people we work with, the people who disappoint us.
Everyone.
Yeah.
So from a sound perspective, because I studied sound engineering, louder isn't always more audible. In fact, louder is usually more distortion. And when something is distorted, it means it's corrupted. It means you can't use it. So whenever you raise your voice, it doesn't mean the other person can hear you better. In fact, most times they're completely not hearing you at all.
That's a bomb.
So make sure, like I said, make sure that you always remain calm so that you can really be heard. You can express yourself so much better. And yeah, so those are our points for communication. Like we said, this is something that we are currently under construction. But yeah, I hope it can help you guys, and I hope we can just all get better.
That's the whole point. We're all growing, we're all learning. And yeah, we hope you're still enjoying the videos. We love how you guys are interacting. We see the comments, we try to reply as much as possible. Thank you to the ones who reply to the ones we can't reply to. So we love the interaction, and yeah, let's keep the positive conversation going. Most of everything we're doing is conversation starters, because that's where healing takes place, that's where something new takes place, and God works where there's openness and where there is truth, whether we like the truth or we don't like the truth. So yeah, guys, we hope you enjoyed this video. Let us know what you think. We love you lots. God bless you.
Cheers.